So an HR expert is going to explain to us how we should. Well, she's talking to black women, which is okay. I mean, if you got a specialty audience that you want to cater to, then you do that. Can't knock her for that. But we're gonna get into it. I think this is probably information for everybody. So let's get into it. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let's hit it.
Hello and welcome to the show. This modern day workforce is full of bold, sharp, and really talented young people who are prepared to play by their own rules. These new employees aren't staying at jobs that no longer serve their career goals. My first guest today suggests that all women, particularly Black women, should follow in their footsteps. I know that's raising some eyebrows already. Krishna Powell is the CEO of HR for Your Small Biz, and she's also a seasoned HR professional with more than 30 years of experience. She says it's time for Black women to burn the superwoman cape, stop going above and beyond at work all the time.
Shoot, I didn't know jobs still had HR. A lot of jobs I've done been to, they got rid of them HR departments, or it's like corporate. We used to have, local in-house HR department. Now it's like it said corporate headquarters somewhere in Chicago or something like that.
A notion that really kind of goes against what our parents told us about always being the best, right? Please welcome Krishna Powell to the show. Hello.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Nice to have you here. I want to dive right in because and I know, and they all know that our parents, our grandparents said, you got to be the best, you got to be the brightest, you got to be the earliest, you got to stay the latest, all of those things to stand out and compete just to get the job and then
Right.
keep it.
Exactly.
You say that has shifted. How
It
so?
has. So my question a lot of times to leaders is, where has that gotten us?
Mhm.
Because they saw someone such as myself say, thank you for 20 years of service. Here's your severance. We no longer need you.
That was your experience personally.
Yes.
And that hurts.
Exactly. And leaders are going through that now. And they're thinking, I've given my all. I've given you my very best, especially Black women. And
I hope she's just talking about like women in general and saying especially black women, so I can understand it with the racial bias or what have you that could be on jobs. But men go through it too. I've seen black men work at places 20, 30 years. Well, I don't know about 30, but retired places, and you get your little severance package. You might get a watch, you might get a going away handshake, and then that's it. But that's at any job, any career. What you learn at a young age, what you should learn as young as possible, is that the moment you quit, the moment you are terminated, is the moment they look for your replacement. Period. And that's just business. You can't take it personal. And like she was saying, like your grandparents, your parents, like my dad, he worked for the city and then he retired after so many years. And so no, he still get paid, he's still on benefits or what have you, and he doesn't work no more. He worked for the city, worked for the county, getting retirement checks from both of them. I remember my grandmother, she said she used to work at Curtis Mathis back in the day. And, she retired from Curtis Mathis and was still getting a little check, for long as I know. I don't think my grandmother worked when I was, what I'm saying. I can't even call that she worked uh growing up. She might have did when I was a little baby, but the older I got, she used to stay with my grandmother like in the summertime. So when I was like junior high. So, but yeah, corporations used to be able to do that back in the day. And now it's a little tougher. Now they were pushing 401ks for a while and they still have them. So, I mean, if your job got them, go and get that match. But places that I've worked recently, like automatically do retirement savings accounts for you. You don't even know the money's coming out. They already got something set up with Fidelity or T. Rowe Price, and it's money already going to a retirement account before you even see your check, because that whole pension thing is going away. The 401k thing may be going away. So things are different from when your grandparents used to work. But I'm gonna let her speak a little more, and I'm gonna give you like my take on what, what I'm saying, on how to look at things.
and then to be told it's not enough. Oftentimes, they will still choose someone less qualified than you just for the sake of keeping an image, keeping you in a box, and wanting you to only achieve a certain level.
So from a work
Real quick, and I'm going to rewind a little bit. Great example. When I worked at the warehouse, I spoke about this job before. I was there for about 10 plus years, but there was a guy who was I think I might have spoken this story. He was a lead on the dock. When I got the lead man on the dock, you got the supervisor, you got your lead, and you got us. And he was a lead man on the dock. Supervisor, did he quit? I don't know if he quit or got another position. Because we had one supervisor, he was a little redneck dude. And then I think he quit or left or whatever. Then we got another supervisor, kind of Fred Flintstone type looking guy. And then I think he got a higher position. So then the supervisor job came up. So we're like, well, shoot, everybody thinking, who else could get the job? Because James, I don't want to say his name, but JP, he been the doc, lead doc for as long as I've been here, or the doc leader as long as I've been here. So he should be like right in line. And everybody, we was all thinking he was going to get it. I mean, hell, he even came to work that day with like his suit and in the bag, hung it in a locker. So it's time for his interview. He went in there, got dressed for the part. The man did what he's supposed to do. He didn't get the job. They gave it to this dude who worked in the office. They said the guy used to work on the dock but couldn't cut it. And so he was in the office, went on the dock, and then somehow got a job in the office, couldn't cut it. So he didn't want to work in the office, on the dock. And then they turned around and made him the supervisor. And we was all like, oh man, it's cold blooded. And I know JP felt bad about it, probably was upset about it, but like a man, he just went back to work. But things like that. And then I think, no, that guy was still there when I left. But then I hear later that when I had left the job and everything, that had a different supervisor. It was a guy who worked the dock, came in after all of us, and he became supervisor. I don't know if JP tried to get that job or not. But the point is, when I saw that, stuff like that, and I'm looking around and I'm seeing how our people, and JP was a black dude, and the guy that worked in the office was a white dude. So I'm going to put that out there. But when I saw that happen, and I'm seeing that there's a lot of us on this dock, we ain't really getting these no raises. There's nowhere to move up. I got to move around. So plan was already in place to get up out the dock, get up out the warehouse, and to do something else because there was no future in it. So like she said, there's no way to move up. So why show loyalty to them people? Shoot, because I can remember, like I said, even that same job. I remember the first year I was there. They tell you, you come in, you work hard, you do a great job, man, look good on your review. Okay, did that. Busting my tail, working hard, doing overtime, blah, blah, blah. Get my first review, and I got like a 2%. And they found it kept finding these things that I did wrong, like on random days, to justify why I couldn't get like the max raise. So after that, I'm like, you know what? The hell with it. I'm gonna do what they asked me to do. I ain't gonna do no more, no less. But I'm gonna bust my tail. So think about it, I'm still gonna work my tail off to make sure the job is done and done right. I'm not gonna slack. That's one thing you can't do. And I'm not gonna have an attitude of where I'm always complaining about the job. I'm going there, enjoy myself, work hard, leave. But I got a plan to get up out of here. And that's how you gotta look at it. But anyway, let's keep going.
workforce standpoint, what does that look like for you and the lessons that you have learned that you now share with others, right? You get so far, you've done all the things you said you were supposed to do. What do you tell women who have we thank you for your time and commitment, but we're going in a different direction now. Not because you did anything wrong, but because we're changing the model.
So I tell leaders, go in, and women in particular, do your best, but don't give them your best. And so what that means is that work with what they've given you, but don't try to turn water into wine and think that because we do that, that means we're going to come out on top, because we're not.
So I know there's going to be somebody who's listening and says, are you saying don't do your very level best? Because it sounds like that is kind of what you're saying.
What I'm saying is, if they give you and say, here is what I want you to work with, that's what you work with.
So then how do you stand out if everybody is working with all the same, especially in jobs where the task is essentially the same for a bunch of different people? How do you stand out if you're not sort of putting your own shine on it?
Quality. So you deliver it back to them, a quality package, a quality service. But at the same time, that staying late, coming in early, sacrificing your family, your health to put the bow on everything and hope that when they open the package, they go, wow, you're fantastic. They're not doing that.
And like I said, this goes beyond just black women. I don't like the narrative when we separate, men and women as a group, especially like in like information like this. This would be for all of us, because I too understand about the staying late, sacrificing family and time for a job, thinking that they're gonna give you all these praise when they not. Because like I say, you leave tomorrow, they'll find someone or they'll look for someone. May have someone to replace you for what replace you real quick, just that quick, because it's a business and they gotta keep going. So you do, what? Let me rewind because I want to make sure y'all hear what she said before I make my next comment.
So you deliver it back to them, a quality package, a quality service. But at the same time, that staying late, coming in early, sacrificing your family, your health to put the bow on everything and hope that when they open the package, they go, wow, you're fantastic. They're not doing that.
So what you got to really realize is the industry that you're in. If let's say you're an employee, you're a floor worker, and if there's opportunity, and this is things you can research, company wide. I always look into the job search, the open jobs in the corporation that you're in the company that you're in, and see if there are levels to move up. Now, if you think you can move up, here's the thing. You can't have this kind of mentality going into a job. You got to have a plan to move up. Never go into a situation thinking I'm going to be I'm not going to really speak on either warehouse or nursing. Never go into a job just think I'm going to be a dock worker. That's it. And I'm going to retire from, excuse me, so I'm working on the dock. Never go in the hospital say I'm just going to be a PCT and I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. You can't go into a job like that, because when you do, then it's like you're limiting yourself with the money and the positions you can have. You go in and you look to do your best, to be the best, do the best, be the best at what you do. And you're always looking to move up. That's what I'm doing. Even till this day, I'm always looking to move up in position. I started out as a like a charge nurse, and then got moved. No, then was like a nurse, like a manager of a clinic, and then that didn't work. I was like, nah, and that didn't work out. Really didn't like being on salary, working all them hours. Although you can get bonuses at the end of the year, but it's a lot. So at the time I wasn't really thinking on moving up beyond that. But then now in the position, like some supervisor now the position I'm in now, I'm like, you know what? If I do, I wouldn't go back and be like a facility administrator, but I wouldn't mind going into like a corporate job at the corporate office. I could do that. Something that I can work there, or something that I can move around and go to different clinics and help other clinics. Cause that's what I like to do. So I like to coach, I like to teach stuff like that. But you can't go into a job, saying just doing your job. I said a quality package. It's kind of hard to differentiate, because if you are frustrated at a job, it's easy when you try to toe that line. It's easy to fall back on the wrong side of that line to where now you're complaining all the time. Now you can't stand a job all the time, and now you're trying to bring the morale of everybody else down, and it's just destroying the whole office or wherever you work at as a whole. And now you can't service your customers right. Your employees ain't happy, and then you're wondering why where you work at is just going down here. Nobody want to be there. You can't have that mentality. Or at least you can't show it. You know, get married, Get you somebody that you can talk to. You know what I'm saying? Go to work, do your job, and then go home and raise hell. But other than that, just don't bring that kind of mentality to the job. But like I said, you got to be trying to move up, do something better. If you go in there and you try to do it and it doesn't work out, okay, then you do like most people would tell you. Well, a lot of people won't tell you, but what they should tell you is you either got to have like a 2-year plan to either in 2 years move up positions or to move on somewhere else. Because standing with the position that you're at, you're not going to get raises more than 2-3% regardless for most, like I said, for most careers. And if you're not going to move up, the only way you're going to get your money is to move around every couple of years, let them max you out, and then whichever company that you worked for in the past and you felt good there, felt comfortable there, you might can go back there and then what I'm saying, finish your days out like that. So anyway.
And when you look at the generations and what's going on in the workplace, mental health is suffering.
Yeah.
People are physically suffering.
Right.
Why? Because you've given so much of yourself that you have even forgotten to take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So do that first and foremost.
And understand, like you said earlier about use what they give you and don't try to, do too much, because a lot of companies, they're only going to give you just enough to survive what they think. They're not going to try to spend a whole lot of money on a bunch of employees. That they're trying to get as much as they can out of you by using as little people as possible. Again, no matter where you work at, it's a business.
Before you go ahead and put the bow on for everybody else.
So for women, particularly who are trying to move up the corporate ladder, let's say, and really in any industry, but that corporate ladder, those women trying to make it to the C-suite, what does that look like when so much of what we have to do professionally does come with a sacrifice personally?
So if you want to make that sacrifice, I'm not saying you cannot make that sacrifice or don't make it. Just know the cost. Are you really willing to pay the cost in regards to
Pay the cost to be the boss?
Health, your mental well-being, as well as understand the fact that if there is a choice between the numbers and your position, it will always be your position.
Yeah.
If you walk into it exactly. If you walk into it understanding that, then go for it. But don't be surprised and upset and disappointed when you find that your position is no longer needed.
So then again, I want to sort of drill down though on women who may be in their 30s, in their 40s, because as we see with this generation, they're like, okay, we watch the aunties and the uncles, do this whole stay for 20 some years, and sometimes it pays off and sometimes it doesn't. What do you say to those who say, I'm not going to take that traditional path? How do you then stand out if you're going to open your own business or work in a contracted position? How is that looking?
So the way it looks is, again, you do the job, you do it to the best of your ability. You think about the sacrifices that you're willing to make. And if it is fine with you, you go ahead and do them. But what it looks like you doing is, it's okay to stay late. It's okay to come in early. But do you have to do it all the time or just some of the time?
Right. It's the balance, right?
Exactly.
Because sometimes you are going to have to miss an after school program.
Right.
But then on that one where they're like, no, mom, you really got to come to this one.
Exactly.
That's the balance.
And that's where you weigh what matters most to me in this moment. So we have to decide. I had to decide going up that corporate ladder, the sacrifices I was willing to make.
And see, that's probably what's hard about being a woman. And a lot of people talk about women should be in the house. I feel, well, scripture said too, shoot, men and women should be out there working. But when you have to sacrifice, it's almost like the way it works out. It doesn't matter if you are a single mother with 3 kids and 3 jobs and you're never at home, or you are a corporate woman with 5 degrees trying to move up the corporate ladder because you don't need no man. You can do this on your own and you never at home. The outcome could quite possibly be the same because you are sacrificing time and nurturing with your children. That's why it's different for if men do it than if women do it, because people expect a man to go out there and work from sundown to sundown. They expect that from us. They don't expect that from a woman. They don't expect, because it's a lot. It's a load to bear. It's a big load to bear, and sometimes it's not worth it. Even as, shoot, I can say, even as a man, sometimes it doesn't feel like it's worth it. But we get, how do we say, fulfillment out of making sure everyone has what they need to be able to survive, or to be, I don't want to say happy, but have what they to have what they need. But it may not be the same on the other side of the fence. So yeah, it's kind of shaky ground. So you really have to think about what you want to do. You really have to talk about the sacrifice. So you really got to be wondering, do you feel the need to sacrifice, like I say, nurturing of your children? Now, if you got, let's say, like a mother, grandmother, even husband or whoever that can be around the kids more, help you, not other siblings, not their siblings, but adults and stuff, like they can be around to make sure they're not home alone, all the time, running the streets, doing nothing, ain't at work, and that they self have to work after school. If you got people that can help you with that, then it may be a little easier. But other than that, man, don't a lot of times it ain't worth it. That money ain't worth it. And then when you get in your 50s and 60s, and then you find after the man, so then I told you this for years, like, man, all I want to do is go to work, come home, enjoy my house. Now you get, what I'm saying, enjoy the kids, grandkids, stuff like that. Now y'all get older, you'll be like, I think it's time for me to settle down. What's 60 now? You should have thought about that 20 years ago when I told you to.
I did miss some events with my children,
Absolutely.
but
Yeah.
I had the conversations with my children, with my family, saying, hey, this is what it's going to take for me to achieve it. Is everybody on board? Am I on
And
board?
the kids ain't gonna say no. They're not gonna say no because they want to see the mama happy. They want to see you happy. They want to say, hey, this is what you're doing, this is what you want, mama, you live your life. All the while, they are gonna wish that you was at certain events.
To deal with this uncontrollable or undeniable guilt that, oh, the world is coming to an end for me personally because I'm not there.
Got it. Biggest lesson you learned quickly, just about yourself in your personal journey that you hope women will be able to appreciate?
The biggest thing that I have learned is that I'm worth it.
Oh well, some more of them Instagram quotes from people are not fulfilled like they're supposed to be. But anyway, hey, I see what she's saying. I get it. Yeah, you wanna give it your all, but then you want to go too much above and beyond too much, because in the end they're not going to appreciate you. But that shouldn't be your end goal. If that's your end goal, then you going in at it the wrong way. Your end goal is to always improve, always to move up. Not be a worker bee for the rest of your life. Move up that corporate ladder, or learn enough skills to where maybe you can start your own business or what have you, or be able to move, get that experience, and then move to another company to where you can get more money, better, a higher paying job, a higher salary, same thing, a higher position. And just keep moving up till you can't move up no more. Like I say, maximize your dollars. That's what I always say. Maximize your dollars and your potential, and never go in there doing a half-tail job. Because when you do that, because I done told my kids, I done told kids I coach, I done told grandbaby, hell, I done told grown folks, you can't turn sorry assness off and on. You just can't do it, because once you do it, it's hard to get back right. And any little thing that upsets you or irritates you, you're gonna be right back in that little rub. But anyway, tell me what you think about this story. Leave your comments below, share them with the world. Let's have an intelligent conversation. You know how we do around here. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Those 4 things cost you nothing but maybe a couple of minutes out your day, but it means the world to us here. If you would like to support us financially, you can get super thanks, super chats, super stickers, and you can go to the description box below. There are links there you can click on and help support us there. And hey, don't forget to hit that shop button. We got great merch I know you will love. But with that being said, I leave you in peace, and I'll see you on the other side.